you know, obviously there's a lot of hype going into Cedar Falls, and it's a big week, and you know, I think it's going to be a great event for people to attend. So I'm going to help my little buddy over at UNI, Coach Schwab, and try to pack this place because I'm going to have some fun here. But I seriously think this is going to be a great event for people to watch. You got two teams that are really kind of on a roll right now, and you know, if they both stay on a roll Friday night, it's going to be a heck of a match. You know, if you look at rankings, I think very arguably you could say that UNI's kind of been a top 10 team the last 2 weeks. You know, studying them a lot, totally different lineup than they had you know, a month ago when they took some losses, and maybe even 2 months ago. So, you know, to do what they did down in Oklahoma at the same time we did it should just tell everybody it's a good event to come out to. So anyway, I got a little, my buddy Coach Schwab got a little bit hyper yesterday in the press conference. So, you know, I think turnabout's fair play here, but you have to understand. So I've got kind of an emoji class here because Coach Schwab was so hyped that I don't know if he was thinking clearly. So I'm going to provide some pictures today, Coach, emoji class here. But you got to understand, Coach Schwab probably before that press conference probably did like 300 pull-ups and had a liter of Mountain Dew in him. So my first emoji is crazy. This kind of looks like Schwab a little bit, and this might be like what he looks like right away. Like I'm guessing about halfway through 125 when he gets like just a questionable call. This is the guy you'll see on the mat right here, Coach Schwab. All right, so that's my first emoji. My second emoji is, and Coach Schwab alluded to it, I'm going to go to this emoji here, all right? This is us selling tickets, okay? So you got to get your tickets. I don't even know if Coach Schwab remembered saying tickets because he was just flying around the room at that time, but we got to sell some tickets. And this probably goes a little bit to the Cyclone people. We need some tickets sold here, Cyclones. So we need Cyclones out there because I think the Schwab mob is going to be kind of crazy. And the other thing he mentioned that you will see is you'll see two teams that want to beat each other really bad, but at the end of it all, you're going to see two teams go shake hands, all right? You won't see coaches busting through the bench, cussing at players. You'll just see guys shaking hands, having a great time afterwards. Now I can promise you we're not going to like them. We might not like them tomorrow morning. We're not going to like them tomorrow night. We probably might start liking them about 9:30 or 10 o'clock on the way home, but the respect is there, and we know what we're in for. So that's my handshake emoji. And then I brought a few props along too because Coach Schwab said he was going to break my hips. So Brees Hall loaned me his pants, and then I got a couple extra hip pads that I could put right here. Wherever my hip is, I could put those right there. So I figure if he can break Brees Hall's hips, then he's pretty tough. So thanks, Brees, for letting me use your pants here. And then if he actually does get to the point, let me see, if he actually does get to the point where things are going so bad for him and he wants to break my hips, I've got a policeman here that I'm going to take with me. So we get, like when I go to Oklahoma State and Iowa, I get a policeman, so I expect a policeman at Cedar Falls. All right, so, and lastly, you know, I got I borrowed Metcalf's hunting hat because I'm not much of a hunter, but Metcalf is. But I'm going to be a hunter this weekend, so, you know, there's my panther emoji, and we're hunting panthers, right? Now, for you people out there that think that might be too violent, now that's a green squirt gun, okay? And I actually think a green squirt gun could probably take out the panthers, but it might take two green squirt guns, so we might bring two to us with the Cedar Falls. But that's a panther, and that's a cyclone, and the winner gets a trophy. Coach, you got all that? I don't know if that even opened it up for questions right now because I'm sure you're all just absolutely stunned by that performance.
Did you rehearse?
No, that just was that good?
That's impromptu.
Well, I cheated and I wrote like handshake on the back of them and trophy, so that was it. That was how I did it.
Seriously, how fun is it to have this level match between these two programs? You know, Schwab's done a great job getting them to a certain level and keeping them there, and you've obviously brought your program up a lot in the last 5 years or so.
No, I really think I'm serious when I say I think that right now they're wrestling like a top 10 team. Just in the last month, and that's really how we get remembered is what we're doing right now. So you can throw out the fact that they were 26 at the beginning of the year, and I think we were 20th. You know, you got two programs that are kind of on the rise, and to have 3 programs in the state that, arguably are top 10 programs, and, I might be pounding my chest and being a salesman here a little bit, but I think that's what we've got, and, I think that people will show up, and I'm excited about it, and, I respect the heck out of those guys, what they're doing over there. We know what we're in for. We know we're in for a fight, and, that's why I'm going to have a policeman with me, so.
Just in general, I wanted to ask you about you probably don't think about it very much, but when you got here, the first year, Pagan's the only guy you take to nationals, and since then it's been a lot more every year that you could take guys. Has it progressed the way you expected it? Like, was there a blueprint you felt it's gone, or have there been enough things off script that you've had to deal with that, on this journey to get the Cyclones back into the top 5?
That's probably a pretty good and a fair question. I think if you look at my history and sometimes age is wisdom. I did it at the high school level. I did it at Virginia Tech, and now we're kind of doing it here. Now we're not where we want to be, but we're making progress, and I think that it's that every one of them's got different twists and turns. You get a recruit here, you lose a recruit here. Some things didn't go quite as quickly as we wanted to, but then, you kind of get on a roll. And, if you look at some of the guys that we got, they're doing really well right now. Like Kyson Terrakina wasn't a top 250 kid in the nation. Obviously, Younger was way under the radar. You look at some of the guys that are doing really well for us right now. I mean, Marcus Coleman's made huge strides. That says a lot about, this staff and the development, and these guys just really buying into what we're doing. And that's really what it boils down to is, whoever's running the program, if you got a good blueprint, your blueprint's only as good as the guys that are following it. And so they've got to follow it and, so to speak, drink the Kool-Aid. And these guys this year especially, it's just been, the improvement we've had every week's been really, really fun to see. And that's what we got to keep doing if we want to finish strong.
You mentioned the development part, and that's interesting to me because it seems like some coaches are really good at coaching people that are already great and making them elite. But you mentioned guys who just kind of have the want to and desire, and being able to coach guys that have to make kind of a meteoric rise. It takes a special kind of coach, it seems like.
Yeah, it's top 10 recruits, top 15 recruits, top 25 recruits are nice to get, but I didn't have that luxury at Virginia Tech when we were 81st in the nation. You have to go develop some kids and take some chances and find some kids that might be a little bit under the radar, and then they start coming. And I think that's where we're at right now. We have a really great recruiting class. I think it'll be a top 5 recruiting class in the nation coming in next year. And junior class looks like it's shaping up pretty good. So, it's all a process.
Well,
kind of cliche around Ames, but it's a process.
It's everywhere. It's nationwide. Highlight. What are some highlight matches just on paper?
Oh my gosh, there's a lot of toss-ups on paper. I mean, I think, obviously at 184, they've got just a guy that's so much fun to watch. He's got such a motor. But Coleman's on a roll too right now, so that's going to be a good match. You look up and down the lineup, there's probably 6 or 7 toss-ups. And that's what's going to be fun for the fans, is you're going to see, some weights scrapping. And the weights where there might be a favorite, there's maybe only 1 or 2 weights where somebody's just a favorite, where you can say, yeah, this guy's probably going to win. And that's what makes a great dual meet.
How have you seen Coleman prepare this week as he's going into facing off against the number 4 guy?
He's just been very steady all year long, very, very steady. And I always challenge him. I said, you guys need to be professionals, even though you're 19 to 23 years old, 24 years old, some of them. You need to be professionals, and because this is the highest level of folk-style wrestling. So you guys are the NFL of folk-style wrestling. So you got to treat your body and you got to treat your sport as a pro. And I think Coleman's done a really good job of that this year. Just everything he does is just very intentional.
And then when you look at a guy like Kyson, you said he's really bought into the little details off the mat. How have you seen the team as a whole really hone into being good outside of the room?
Well, we preach to him a lot about, we get you about 3 hours a day. The other 21 hours a day, you got to win. You just can't win 3 hours a day. You got to win the other 21, and that's where a lot of guys screw it up, and especially the young guys. So I'm not going to sit up here and say that Kyson's completely figured it out yet, but he's making a lot more good choices than bad choices. And if you think about it as a student athlete, look at all the choices they get all day long, from the minute they get up and what time they get up and what they eat, who they hang out with, if they go to class, if they don't go to class, who they hang out with night, what they eat, what time they go to bed. There's a lot of chances to screw it up, but there's also a lot of chances to do it right. And so when they get that figured out, you see the progress.
And then with just, you know, the excitement and all the banter back and forth between you and Schwab, you know, how have your guys been, you know, what's their excitement preparing for Friday?
Oh, they'll be excited. You know, you're going to see 20 guys that shake hands that want to win really bad. So you don't have to get them hyped up for this. They're ready to go, and they'll have fun with this press conference. And they had fun with Schwab trying to break my hip, so I'm going to wear my hip pads. So.
Did Reese personally deliver that to you, or did it come via a courier?
Brees's people got it to me, so okay.
I'm sorry, one more kind of big picture question. But what's, you know, talk about Metcalf at St. John. These guys have been with you for a long time. How key is that?
I can't say enough. You know, we just need to do a press conference on those two guys, especially. You know, I'm sure they didn't know what they were getting into when you start a build. And St. John was with me a little bit at Virginia Tech, so he knew a little bit about me. Metcalf came in, like, I'm sure his eyes. It'd be interesting to sit him down and see how his life's changed in the last 5 years, and just in terms of coaching versus being an athlete. But those guys are just, you know, the amount of time they spend with our guys individually, especially this year. You know, this time of year when you go down the stretch, is you know, they know they're pros. They know what it takes, and we got great chemistry, and we you know, we're all on the same page.
How do you feel like it's going to be wrestling at somewhere outside of West Gym? Because as you know, I'm sure.
Well, I can't say that I'm super bummed out that we're not wrestling at West Gym, because that's a sweat box, and it's a hot, dark sweat box. So I know Schwab's probably mad right now. He's probably politicking right now somewhere out downtown holding some type of protest boards. We're going to West Gym, but we're at McLeod. But we wrestled there last year. I like it. I mean, it's really for the fans. I think it can seat, what's it seat, 5, 6? I don't know. So it can seat a lot of people. So if it's 7, we need to get 7 in there. We really need to. There's the tickets right there, okay? All right, gang, thanks.
Thank you, Coach.